Hello there. So I'm so excited to teach you guys today about some of the inventory best practices. And inventory is one of the most foundational pieces of your Paparazzi Premier app because it's really where you get things started at. So there are three main ways to get your inventory into the Paparazzi Premier app. And I'm ready to dive into all three ways and teach you some tips and tricks along the way of how I would encourage you to either manage your inventory or how to use the app to manage your inventory. So let's go ahead and we are going to dive into those first. So first way is through receiving. And receiving is the way that your purchases with Paparazzi, when you purchase from the daily releases or you're replenishing blockbusters, that is going to automatically sync from your Paparazzi system into Premiere. And you don't have to do anything to make that happen. It's that magical. But there are two unique things that occur in receiving that always come up as questions that we're going to address here with you. So let's first dive into the app. And those are going to be addressed. Those two main questions that you see here are going to be addressed as we go through the app. So here is the app set up for us that I'm sharing. So to go to receiving, you're going to go to the hamburger menu or the main menu on the left side with the three lines. And you're going to click on that. And you're going to go down to the menu that says receiving. Now, this is where any orders that you have to receive come into the app. Now, the best thing that I encourage you to do is to not receive things until you physically get your box, because that's going to allow you to verify that you have everything, that nothing's damaged or anything like that. You can receive everything into your app before you can go through this process before you physically get the box. But that's going to create more work for you in managing your inventory and your stock counts. So we're going to say that I have this order right here with me and we're ready to go through and make sure I have everything. So to receive it, I'm just going to click on it and it's going to bring up that entire order. So this is everything that I ordered here. So if I need to say that I didn't receive all of these and maybe I only received 3, I can click on that and I can change that here. The other way that if everything's perfectly fine and you received the entire package and there were no issues, then you can easily check the mark received all. And that's going to check everything and it's going to put these quantities into your inventory for you. Now, what is not here is going to be addressed as one of those questions that's always asked. Well, how do I bring in my host rewards for this? Because you're going to see here that the host reward, the HR item, is not here. So I have one here, the HR 10 pack. And what you would be able to do is you would unpackage this, right? And I have already unpackaged an HR item, so we're going to use that so you guys don't have to listen to that sound here. And you would be able to use the little scan icon in the top left corner here with the barcode and the little squares around it. And that brings up your camera to be able to scan in items. So if you have host reward items, or you have life of the party items, or you want to break apart your fashion fix bundles, you can do that. And it's just that simple. You would be able to scan them in and it adds that to the order. So you can see that that's how it gets added there. So that is receiving, right? So that's how you're going to get orders that you place from Paparazzi into Premiere from the moment that you sign up with Premiere. Now, let's talk about how you bring in those vintage pieces, because that's also something that's very important for you here. So there are 2 ways to bring in your vintage pieces. The first way is one of my favorite ways, and that obviously means that you still need to have that Paparazzi SKU. You need to have this P number for the items. My favorite way is the scan to add. And we're going to go into the app and I'm going to show you how to do that. But let's talk about some of these important things first. So it does use your device's camera. You don't need to go out and buy an external barcode reader, although you can, but I will tell you, you don't have to. Some tips about doing scanning to add using your Premiere app. This first things first, make sure you have good lighting in your space. Don't do it in a dark space. Make sure you take a moment and you straighten all of those packaging labels. You know, sometimes those rings or the bracelets are a little bit bulkier, and so the barcode doesn't lay as flat. Maybe take those out of it and use just the packaging to scan those. Another tip is to use a white sheet of paper. So lay it down on a white sheet of paper and you can scan in those individual pieces. Another tip that I always encourage is to use a tablet stand. And your tablet stand is going to help you keep your camera steady. So this is the nice Paparazzi Premiere one that is given out at your Dorks Workshop. So make sure you guys are attending those. If you have the opportunity to attend one, you can get entered in, or you can be there and have a chance to win one of those. But I use a tablet stand to keep my camera steady so that I can, you know, use both hands. I can scan, put that down, scan, put that down, and keep going. So some tips about getting other existing inventory in. You might have, you know, hundreds of vintage pieces in your inventory. The best tip that I can encourage you is you don't need all of your inventory in to sell through Premiere. You only need the inventory in for what you're going to sell today, right? If you're going to use reply to buy, you only need the items that you're going to go live with in reply to buy. So you can scan those and prep those ahead of time. Another hot tip is that there are so many in search of groups out there all over Facebook. I know some of your leaders have websites that they've developed that have the SKU as well. That's going to be especially handy when you have items that you've removed the packaging for. So my tip on that is that once you find that SKU, the P SKU specifically for like this item, you're going to write that quickly down. And I'm going to show you in app what we're going to do. And I have a hot tip for that because you're going to be able to use cheap solutions where you don't need a barcode printing sticker or anything like that as well. Another tip that is talked about during your reply to buy sessions is that if life happens, your kids had soccer and you can't get home in time to plan the live and get the inventory in, you can technically scan it in as you're going live because you're going to use two devices, one to go live and one to have Premiere on, and you can scan and add them as you go. So don't feel like you have to be 100% perfectly organized. There is flexibility in this. So let's go ahead and we're going to switch over to the app here. And I'm still on the receiving screen for this order. So I'm going to go ahead and click cancel. And I am going to navigate you to your inventory department. So I'm going to go to the hamburger button again. And you can see there it's the second one down, and we are going to click on inventory. So now the scan to add feature is the same scan icon throughout your device. It's going to be that barcode with the 4 squares around it, and you're going to click on that. And that's going to bring up your camera again. So my same hot tips, keep your camera steady and make sure you have straightened your packages. And all we're going to do is line it up. And it really is just that fast. Now, here's the interesting thing of what you're seeing. I already have 18 of this item. So it's brought it up and said I have 18. Well, I found one more. So I want to change that to 19. So we are going to go ahead and go to 19. And then we're going to click save. So that update was completed. Now, one thing I do want to show you is that if you don't have the barcode, right, and you see down at the bottom of this screen here, you have manually enter barcode. So on these items where I don't have the barcode physically to scan it in, I will have made a note of what that Paparazzi P SKU is to be able to enter that here. And I could type all of that in to be able to find it. That is going to be the piece of information that gets this into your app. Okay. Now, that's fine and dandy. What do you do when you want to be able to sell this again, right? And my encouragement is you don't need a barcode printing sticker or anything fancy like that. My cheap solution is you can get these great little stickers. They're the little dot stickers. I apologize, they are white. But you can get these stickers at Dollar Tree. If you want to buy them in bulk, you can get them from any office supply store, but these little dot stickers, and you're going to write the item number on the back here. So I wrote item number 803 on here. So when I go to create an invoice and I want to sell this item because I sold it, I can type in 803 when I'm creating an invoice. So join me for the invoicing and order fulfillment training because I'm going to show you specifically how you do that. But you put in the item number and you'll be able to recall that. So I want to scan one more item. One of the items that is going to be new to my inventory, but is a vintage piece that I still have the packaging for. So you can see what that looks like. So here's the new screen. So this is an item I don't have in my inventory just yet. I have 10 of them. So we're going to add 10. And we're going to put this item number as 402. And that would be where I take out my stickers, right? I take out my sticker because I'm going to unpackage this when I go live, and I'm going to put 402 on the back of this piece. So now no matter what, if I don't have this packaging, I know item 402 will be found in my inventory. So that's how you do the scan to add feature. And you would do that for all your vintage pieces that you need to bring into the app that you're going to sell. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. You only need to bring in what you're going to sell today. Plan your live ahead of time. If you can, pull the 20 pieces, pull the 50 pieces, and you can get those in very quickly. So let's talk about the third way that you have as an option to be able to bring in your inventory. The third way is importing your inventory from another system. So if you're using a Shopify, you're using any of those other e-commerce platforms, like I know Square has an inventory management system or anything else, you would be able to extract that information from that system and import that into your back office. So you're going to locate that under your back office. You're going to go to orders and personal inventory management. Now you will upload that in, and that automatically brings that inventory into your system. Another place that you have this is under historical orders. Paparazzi did go ahead and create for you an easy file. So if you're not using Shopify, if you're not using Square or any of those other ones, and you know that you want to bring in those historical orders that didn't come through receiving, then you would be able to go to your back office as well and go to your historical orders and click on Premier CSV and download them and import them here as well. So those are two things about your imports that you would be able to use to get those vintage pieces in. So an important thing before we move on about the three ways that we just discussed about bringing in your inventory. It's very important to understand that importing your inventory does not work in the same way as the first two methods. The first two methods are an add to your inventory. So you saw how I scanned in these earrings and I was going to add to my inventory. If I use the import file to do any changes to this SKU, it is basically a replace. It takes whatever is in Premiere and it zeroes it out and it puts in only what I put in the file. So if I had 18 in my inventory and I'm managing this item through the inventory import file and I have 8, it is not going to make my new number 26. It is going to make my count of these earrings 8 because that's what the file says. So it's very important to understand how this import file works. So let's talk about some of the important fields that you see when you're importing, or not importing your inventory, when you're bringing in your inventory from the app. The first thing that you'll see is that there's 2 fields on your inventory. The first one is item number and the second one is claim code. And it's very important to understand what the difference is between the 2 of them. An item number is your way of organizing yourself, organizing your stock of inventory. Same thing that I just did here, right? So 803 is my earrings, and that might be in section 8 of wherever I have them hanging or displayed or any of that. So an item number is 6 characters, and it can support alpha or numeric characters. No dots, no spaces, no special characters. So it's like E1001 for an earring, or N1200 for necklace. Or I could just say bin 101, and all my necklaces are in bin 101, right? The difference though is for claim code. Claim code is used specifically with reply to buy. And for more information about how it gets used with reply to buy, join that training as well. But it is 6 characters and it does only support numeric, and it can't have a leading 0. It cannot have a leading 0. It's very important to enunciate that. So it cannot have a leading 0. So it can't be 0001, 0002. Those leading zeros are not supported. So it would just be 1, 2, 3, whatever you want to do with that. So the next thing is going to talk about the visibility settings. So the visibility settings in your store help control how things are going to show on your store. And we're going to talk about the global setting here, but I want to show you a cool feature in your inventory in just a minute. But first, let's talk about this setting. This setting controls how it's going to be visible once it's immediately available in your inventory. So if you do receiving, is that going to be immediately available and visible in your online store? So when you turn this visibility setting off, that means when I add new items, they will not show up in my online store. This is a great feature to use if you do things that are like pre-claiming. If you post pictures on your VIP groups and do pre-claiming, you can do your receiving step, you can do your invoicing, and then you wouldn't want to turn that item to be visible until after you've sent all those invoices for any remaining available items to be sold on your online store. If you turn this on, it means that it's going to be immediately visible in the online store. So if I scan and add something, if I do it through wholesale receiving, that's going to be immediately available to purchase in my online store. So if you do pre-claiming in your business practices, you definitely want to be able to turn that on and off, because you don't want to oversell an item that you don't currently have. So we are going to switch to the app. I apologize. I did get switched here, so I do have to change things. I apologize. I lost my app. There it is. Okay. Apologize. We're going to fix something real quick. Okay. So let's talk about the visibility features on inventory. So we are still in the inventory section here. And the visibility features on the individual item is going to be that little eyeball icon. So you can see here the eyeball icon is bold for several of these items. And bold means that it is visible on my store. But if I don't want an item to be visible, I'm going to tap it and it's going to put a strike through on those visibility eyes. Now, the last step to make sure that those items are no longer visible in my online store is to click Save. And now those changes are there. So it's just that simple to mark items to be visible. And now you're probably thinking, geez, that's going to be some work if I have to scroll through and find all the eye icons. So let's talk about another cool feature that you have in Premiere to be able to manage this. So in your Premiere app, you have what we call quick filters. And the quick filters are going to allow you to more easily and quickly manage your inventory. And I go through the different filters where they're appropriate. So today I'm only going to talk to you guys about the filter for the visible in-store one. Join me for the featured items filter. Join me for the Your Online Store training, because I really talk about that one in that training as well. So you can see here we have three main areas of filtering your inventory. So you have visible in store, featured, and claim code. So let's show you how you do that in your app. So you can see here at the top of my inventory screen, you can see an icon to the far right that looks like an abacus. It's 3 lines with the dots. So that's my filter button. So I want to see all the items that are marked to not be visible. So I'm going to click not visible, and then I'm going to click apply. So these are all the items in my store, the 3 that I just marked that are not visible. So if I change one and click save, you can see that it's going to immediately update and it takes it out of that view. So if I want to change it back, I'm going to click the filter. I'm going to change it to visible. I'm going to click apply. And now you can see it switches it back. So these are all of the items that I have marked to not be visible. So let me just do a few of them here. We're going to mark a few more to say they're not visible. Click save. So now you see that they get taken out. We're going to go back to that filter one more time so you can see that it is that immediate. So I really encourage you to use those filters to save you time from scrolling. Now, if you know the specific item, you can absolutely scan it. And there's your eye icon as well. So you can click it to be off. This is the new item that I need to add. So we're going to say I have 7 of these and add. So there it is. My eye icon is turned off. My visible in store icon is turned off, and it is now not visible, and it's added to my inventory. So one of the other items that we want to go over is how do you search in your inventory? So right now, the searching is limited based on if you know the SKU, you know a name, you can search by any of those different things. You can search by item number. So you have to know those specific things. But here's a hot tip for you. Every single piece of your jewelry has a SKU, and there's a certain format for that SKU. So everything that is an earring, that I have earrings here, starts with P5. So if I want to see all of my earrings very quickly, I can go in my app and go to search and search for P5. So let's go ahead and we are going to transition back into the app, and I'm going to show you that. So here I am in the app, and the search bar, as I mentioned, you can search by the name of the piece, you can search by the item number, but I only want to see my earrings. So I am going to search P5. I only have, oh, I forgot to turn off my filters, guys. So that's why it's saying I only have that one filter. So search. Okay. P5. Here are all my earrings. So you can see how if you use that little cheater screen, and I'll switch back to it so you can save it, you can snapshot this screen and know what your little cheat codes are to be able to search. So here's your cheat codes. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this and save it off so you have those that you can do filtering with it in the app when you want to search easier. So the next thing that we want to talk about is understanding that if you need to make changes to an individual item, you're going to get asked for, especially if you're decreasing inventory, it's called a decrementing reason. Why are you reducing the stock? And the most important thing is to understand why this is asked, because it ultimately will impact your revenue and profit report. Understanding where that is going determines, was that cost to you or was that cost somewhere else? So the reasons that you see for lost, missing, damaged, or cycle counting do not count towards your revenue report, whereas personal use, wholesale return, and giveaway does. So if you just simply take something out without creating an invoice, you will mark those according to those reasons. So the last tip and trick that I have for you today is ultimately, if you can, save your SKUs. Save these as much as you can, right? I know I gave you this tip today. So if I take this out of this packaging here, save this if you can. If you can't save it, use my little thing here. And only if you must, because you like the scanning features, you can create your own barcode stickers for those as well. But I encourage the cheaper solution. So in closing, I just want to say thank you for your time today. And I hope that you will check out those other trainings that I mentioned for more information about your online store or reply to buy. Definitely join those with me as well. Thank you.